Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast. I'm very excited to be joined today by Brendan Dawson. He is the founder and CEO of Accident Plan. How are you doing today, Brendan?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Andy. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on with me today. For those who have not seen your media coverage yet, can you give us just like a 60-second elevator pitch on what you do?
Certainly. Accident Plan is a technology platform that puts crash management in the hands of the drivers. No matter what happens when a trucker has a bad day and has an accident, that driver is always the first one on the scene. So we have developed a tool that helps that driver manage the process and then secures custody and control of all of the data and all of the accident scene information for the motor carrier and the companies that insure them.
Excellent. And what initially got you involved in this area?
Well, Andy, I used to be the director of operations for a fleet called the Mobile TV Group that provided mobile television broadcasting services for regional sports networks like NBA, NHL, and college sports, Big 12, like your own Oklahoma Sooners. And I learned through risk management review that it was always my job to make sure the company is in a defensible position should something go wrong. But the thing that kept me up at night, it scared the daylights out of me, Andy, was how to manage crashes, because we have all of these rules and all these organizations and all of these things that we have to do. But when it comes to a driver on the scene of an accident, it's kind of a wasteland of information. And I was never satisfied with that process. And so the more I talked about it, I asked other motor carrier friends what they did, and everybody does the same thing. It's basically an interview process between the driver and somebody back at the shop, and it's disorganized, and it was never enough to secure the information for the claim. I struggled with it in my regular job. The more I talked about it, the more people said I should build an app for it. So I was actually looking for an improved process, couldn't find one. And so it looked like a business opportunity, and we got together some partners and we built Accident Plan.
Excellent. You know, can you tell us a little bit about this whole nuclear verdicts and insurance crisis area?
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on there, Andy. In case your audience hasn't heard, the commercial auto insurance industry has been in a downhill slide for about the last 7 years. And reports from all the major reporting agencies show that commercial auto insurance is experiencing loss ratios of around 112%. And what that means is for every dollar in insurance premium that the insurance company takes in, they're paying out $1.12 in claims, which is a completely unsustainable business model. And so that claims experience has been a part of that. There's lots and lots of reference material about how that claims experience and the nuclear verdicts are a part of that. We have seen in recent years a huge influx of verdicts, and by nuclear, we mean plaintiff verdicts for the plaintiffs that are greater than $10 million. And when we see this proliferation of those verdicts coming in, then it's unsustainable for trucking and for the companies that insure them. Because what happens is the insurance companies are losing money in these commercial autos, so they're subsidizing it with their other lines of products, or they're often pulling out of the business altogether. The result is motor carriers with even good records are seeing sometimes 30, 40, 50% increase in their annual premiums. And some of them who have just even small negative loss histories are being dropped altogether. So the nuclear verdicts and the insurance crisis go hand in hand, and that's part of our job, is to help motor carriers solve that problem.
Excellent. Well, That sounds like a very worthy cause, and I wish you all the best in that, and for the carriers as well. It's a big problem. So, unrelated to business, what is one
Okay.
thing people probably don't know about you that they might be surprised to learn about you?
Well, what they might be surprised to learn about me is that I had a brief career as a Hollywood stuntman. I worked in Hollywood for about 12 years doing trucking for movie companies, and as a result of that experience, I had a few opportunities to do some stunt work in Hollywood at the same time.
That is very, very interesting. That sounds like a lot of fun. Um,
It is. It was.
so, what else are you working on these days, business wise?
Well, what we're coming up with now is we're bringing partnerships in together, and we're forming an organization called the Trucking Defense Network. And as you may know, Andy, all of the technology in the world is only as good as the people who use it. And so, between the insurance crisis and the nuclear verdicts, we are learning that the plaintiff's bar is a lot more highly organized and better prepared and better financed. So, what we're doing is we are bringing together trucking defense professionals. And by that, I mean attorneys, I mean insurance companies, insurance brokers, risk management agencies, and all of these agencies who can provide a rapid response for the motor carrier. It's our motto here: a rapid response leads to rapid resolution. So that when the motor carrier is using our accident plan technology, our system notifies all of these other parties so that they can respond right away. You can have an attorney with eyes on the scene within moments, not within hours or days or weeks, but within moments in an accident of a severity level 3 or higher, that can help that driver, and we can protect that information by privilege. We are partnered with McLean Investigations, and they have a technology called Ready Response. And what that does is that we also draw a circle on a map around that accident, and we start scanning all the social media that takes place, that is being populated around that accident, so that we can now start our proactive defense of that claim within a moment, a minute of when the accident happens, so that we can be collecting witnesses, we can identify possible other claimants, we can identify other vehicles, we can search for traffic cameras, other dash cam footage, so that we can then compile a much more comprehensive claims defense file that will defend that claim and help protect that motor carrier from losing all of that insurance money. So we're gonna bring them all together, including the towing network, the drug testing consortium, so that everybody who has a stake in this process can start action right away.
That's excellent. And on a personal level, coming back from a ski trip, I was involved in an accident coming out of Colorado,
Oh,
and
I'm sorry to hear that.
unfortunately, we spun off the road. Everybody was on accident alert. The police were on accident alert,
Mhm.
so they did not take a formal review or statement at the scene, and that ended up being 3 years in court before we settled that, and it was just a mess.
Well, and you bring up a very important point there, Andy. A lot of companies and a lot of people rely on law enforcement for the information to defend their claims. But the truth is, it's not law enforcement's job to defend your claim. It's law enforcement's job to keep the traffic lanes open and keep people safe and investigate the accidents. But they do it on their timetable, not yours. And as you say, we have out here in Colorado what's called accident alert, where if the vehicles are, the people, if nobody's injured, the police won't respond. The police don't respond to every accident. It depends on what their workload is that day. So motor carriers have to take active control of their accident situation. They must self-investigate if they are to be prepared to defend it. And that's a classic example. It sounds like you didn't have the information that you needed to manage that process. Is that an accurate assessment, Andy?
It is. Yeah. The two insurance companies, we got hit from the side. The two insurance companies arbitrated, and we ended up getting a settlement, but it took a little bit over 3 years to get there because there was no witnesses, no accident report, no footage, no pictures, nothing like that. So it took a long time.
So you didn't take any of your own pictures?
Yeah. I took a couple of pictures, but it didn't do anything for us apparently. So not enough. It wasn't enough. It just certainly wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I applaud what you're doing there. I know that there's a big problem that I hear about a lot as I'm looking at different shows and hearing from people like you. I know there's a big problem that sounds like you're able to address, and that's awesome. So what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, the best way for people to connect with me is via email first, Brendan, BRENDAN at accidentplan.com. I'm on LinkedIn. We've got our website. You can feel free to visit our website. We've shown some of our own animated video, our own studio material there. They can fill out the form. And of course, we have a Facebook, an Accident Plan Facebook page as well.
Very good. I'll definitely put all of that into the video here. I certainly appreciate you coming on with me today, Brendan. And I'll have all the contact info there for people to get a hold of you. And we'll talk with you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thanks. You too, Brendan.